just been doing some boring of the centres of an alloy wheel, and not very nice finish that we've managed to get on the thing. So I just thought we'd have a look at why the finish is not that great, and maybe look at what we might be able to do to improve matters. This is the boring bar that I used on the mill. Boring bar, it's a boring head, I should say. Fairly basic thing. Quite a chunk, nice and sturdy, and the adjustment is just with this screw, winds the centre out to the edge of the boring head, and there's a lock on the side. Normally my sort of go-to tool bit to use in this is this, which is a cut down lathe turning tool. And we just slide that in there and it locks in with a couple of grub screws. This is a lot shorter than the standard boring bar. It's been turned down here and the flat's been put on it so that the grub screws will locate it properly. It's a bit long. You've got to compromise between being able to get into things and not having something that's too long and spindly and waggles around a bit. I have got a longer one of these which I had to use on something. Yeah, boring out some Moto Guzzi cylinder heads, I had to use a longer one. But yeah, this is my normal thing. On the wheel, what happened was once this was wound out to the edge, and obviously this comes with it, it's out here somewhere, it wasn't far enough out. We couldn't get enough diameter on it. So what I did is I resorted to this boring bar. I'm not sure if this is a lathe turning tool, it might well have been. Same sort of thing, just slides in there, and it's got a bit more of a kink on the end. It just comes out that little bit extra that we needed. But it's still long, not a lot, and it's a little bit longer than the other one. Let's have a quick look, does that go right in? Okay. Yeah, so a little bit longer than that one. And I tried to grind a nice edge on this, and it was cutting nice, but with a lot of chatter. Couple of things, the length of this, there's a little bit of play in there. You'd hope that the grub screws here would just clamp that in position, but possibly not as rigid as it could be. The actual stick out will mean that this could flex a little bit, and the way it's ground on the end, I would say that ideally this point should be further back, more in line with the centre of the tool, because the way it is at the moment, if there's any flex here, this will dig in and I think that can create the vibration and the chatter. This tends to dig in and then it springs out. You get something like this going on, obviously at a much higher speed. Yeah, I could grind this back and it might work, but it is still a bit long. We don't need it to be this long. So the other way of using this boring head is with a tool going into this hole, again clamped with a grub screw, just the one. And what I've got in mind is to use a milling cutter, which will go through there. I can't have it too long. I did toy with the idea of putting this in sideways. This diameter here could have been held with this, but this would be sticking out too far on the other end, so this would have needed to be cut off, which would then make it no good for the way I normally use it. So I didn't want to mess with this piece. So a milling cutter, a little bit of modification. That should be a lot more rigid, a lot more rigid. So what I've got to do, I've got to put some flats on the side for the grub screw to push against. And what I want to try and do is have it at that sort of angle. It will mean I'll have to grind some relief on the bottom here, just that much, so that it doesn't rub as it's cutting. And I might grind the top half away. So let's have a go at that, a bit of grinding, and come back to it, see what we come up with. This is my modified slot drill that I'm hoping is going to work as a boring bar. So you can see I've taken one cutting lip of the cutter right off to kind of allow chip clearance as this is coming around this way. So the chips are going to be coming up here, we hope. Might not be an issue anyway, probably not, but we don't need that. We only wanted the one cutting lip, and that's a cutting edge, cutting angle. Well, let's see. Let's put it in the boring head. About there. Whoa, that's tight. Which is good. Tight fit means it should be more rigid. Yeah, I think so. For what we want to use it for, this will be coming out here somewhere. Let's put the grub screw back in. Right. It's got to run backwards. It's got to be turning anti-clockwise, but that's no big deal. Well, we'll see. Try this out tomorrow. I presume they want the other 3 wheels done, so we'll have a go at doing them with this and see if we can get a nicer finish.